Good morning and good evening. Dr. Susan Spillman here. So today I'm going to do the third and final in this particular series of parent and child communication. And what I want to do first is just recap from the other two videos. And so this topic is so close to my heart. It's a topic that I had as a child in terms of very, very poor communication with my parents. And they just weren't able to help me. They weren't able to help themselves. They didn't know how to communicate about feelings. And of course, they couldn't help me communicate about my feelings. And so this is something that I really am passionate about now in my older life. And so that's kind of where this comes from. Also, as I mentioned before, I'm a psychologist, and of course I see this issue all the time in families, about communication, not wanting to communicate, but not knowing how to communicate with each other, that kind of thing. And the other thing is, I live in a family. I'm part of a family here in Bali, and we have both older children and younger children. So I'm very involved in this for myself personally, even though I'm not a parent. And I'm kind of like the grandparent of this family. And so I'm quite I'm involved every day, and you might hear them today. Today they're quite noisy, and so you might hear them on this video. So I just wanted to recap that kind of stuff. To recap in terms of the things I talked about with children, children basically need help to learn how to communicate and to communicate their feelings so that they're not acting out. I mean, when they don't know how to communicate their feelings, then very often what we see is all of a sudden they're angry all the time, crying all the time, sad, withdrawn, all kinds of things, sometimes stealing, other kinds of more active acting out. And this really is related to not knowing how to share how they feel. And they need help in learning how to do this. And the parents, of course, are the role models for this. The role models, when they go to school, of course, the teachers are also some role models, but they learn this very early on, of course, before they go to school, from the parents. And so what's so important is that the parents themselves know how to identify their feelings and talk about their feelings, so that the child can learn how to do this, and so the parent can help the child learn how to do this. So this is really what I'm interested in, is helping the parents and the children learn how to communicate better. And one of the things that's so important for the child, for the parents as well, but if we're focused on the child for a minute, is that the child feels safe expressing their feelings. So of course, if the parent doesn't feel safe expressing their feelings, the child is going to pick this up, whether the parent says anything or not. They're going to pick up what is happening, and that whether it's safe or not to express their feelings. So they need a place and a way to feel safe to start exploring their feelings. And this involves other people not telling them what to do. So sometimes we want to tell children what to do. Be quiet, don't do this, do it this way, that kind of thing. And although that happens, of course, if we're talking about helping them learn how to express their feelings, we want to give them a safe environment to learn how to do that. Okay, to practice having their feelings, regardless of whether we agree with their feelings or not. Okay, so this is sometimes quite challenging. For me, it's quite challenging in the family at times to do this. And so I'm sure other people have the same experience. And I see that all the time, actually. So as I think you know, now I use a game called Magical You, because I feel like this is the best way to help children identify their feelings and release feelings that aren't helpful to them. And this started as a game for children, but now we're using it more and more for adults. And I used to work all the time with playing the game with the child and then talking to the parent afterwards with the child or not, depending on the child's age. But now, just recently, I've started doing this game, playing this game with a parent and child together. And so both the parent and the child talk about feelings. So obviously I don't want the parent to go into really deep, complex feelings in this kind of situation. But just partly as a role model to show the child how to do it, but also for the parent to learn how to do it themselves or to practice doing it if they know how to do this already. And so in this way, the parent and child are playing the game together, and it's been great to see the results of this. For the child primarily, at this point with the people I've been working with, but also, of course, for the parent. So I just want to show you a couple of these cards, just to give you a sense of what they're like. So this is the worried card. So as you can see, this character, you, is very worried, and he or she is so worried that it's coming out his head or her head. So this just gives you a feeling of the cards, and people look at the cards and they pick the cards that they respond to. So that's one card. Then when we get to the place where we choose how we want to feel at the end of the game, I'll show you just one more card, and this is brave, okay? And so you can see this character is feeling free and really strong and brave to jump this loop. So this just gives you a sense of how expressive these cards are and what people respond to. We've also included this time the magic card, and children especially respond to the magic card. Adults sometimes respond to it, sometimes don't, can get in touch with the magic, but the children almost always can respond and do respond to this card and how to use magic to help them feel better. So those are just a couple of examples about the cards. And I'm going to be offering an intro about this game, a free intro, soon, in the next week or two. So please stay tuned, and I'll do a short video before I do that to schedule it, to let you know when I'm scheduling it. So let me just check my notes and see what else I wanted to say today. Oh yes, that if for some reason the cards don't appeal to you or you're not interested, that kind of thing, another way that's very helpful to help children is with drawing and painting. So art is a great way to help anyone, but children also, to get in touch with their feelings, to express their feelings first. They may not be aware of what those feelings are. So what you could do, for example, is you could ask your child to draw a picture of the family. Draw me a picture of the family, and then just see what the family looks like from the child's point of view. It's so interesting to see this. It's so interesting to see who's in the family, for example. Sometimes kids leave out someone from the family. Sometimes they put one person very, very big and, obviously dominant in the family, and other people very small. Anyway, it's so interesting, and kids, they all do it differently, of course, depending on their experience as in that family. And so then, once they've drawn the picture, then you can ask them, okay, what would you like to tell me about this family? Tell me who's who, point out who's who, what they're like, that kind of thing. And so in that way, the child can start to tell you how they feel about the family. And then you can have a conversation with them if it goes that way, in terms of how they feel, how would they like to feel, asking them how they would like to feel in this family, that kind of thing. So that's one way, is to draw a picture of the family. Another way would be to just ask them to draw a picture of and pick the feelings yourself, like an angry. Draw me a picture of an angry child. What would angry look like? And sometimes I've had kids draw the face, just the face, and sometimes the whole body. The same thing with sad. What does sad look like? What does scared look like? That kind of thing. And again, it's just a way to help the child start identifying the words with the feelings, so that they can talk more about it with you. You could also be doing this with them, the scared or angry, the drawing a picture of those. You could do it with them to show them how you feel about it, how they feel about it, that kind of thing. So the thing with the kids and all of this stuff with feelings is really to play with it. So whether it's the game, the Magical You game, or whether it's drawing and playing with kids in that way, of course, it's up to you what's going to work for you and your family. Okay, so now I just wanted to just very briefly tell you a couple of examples of kids that I've worked with, and to just show you what's happened. So one is a boy who was about 4.5 at the time, and he was angry and crying and angry really all the time, nonstop. Not exactly tantrums, but just that kind of crying, whining quality, but nonstop. So I asked him about if he wanted to play a game. Yes, he wanted to play this game. So we played this game, and this was the game before Magical You, called Fast Track, a technique for kids. We played this game, and he picked the angry card. And then we released the feelings that are in the way. He didn't want to release the angry card. He didn't want to release anger. He was happy to have this anger. And so I thought, what is this about? So he's 4.5. He speaks Balinese and a little bit of Indonesian at this time. I speak a little bit of Indonesian. So I just thinking, what is this angry card about, that he wants to hold on to this anger, because it wasn't serving any purpose for him that was positive, let's put it that way. And so it occurred to me that maybe angry helps him feel strong, which of course sometimes anger does give us that sense of power and strength. And so I just asked him, is this, do you feel strong when you're angry? And he's going, yes. So it was like so clear. Of course he didn't want to give it up because he was feeling strong. So I said, well, let's make a new card. Let's make a card for strong, so that you can feel strong. And yes, that's good. And so we did that, and he could give up the anger then. Not 100%, but almost totally 100%. It was quite magical. Once he could see that it was okay for him to be strong, and he didn't have to be angry, it really changed his life. And then after this game, only the first time, he went out, started playing with his sister, was having fun, not crying, not all that kind of stuff. So it was quite magical to see. And that story goes on a bit in terms of helping the mother understand when he's getting this way, what's going on, and to ask him how he's feeling, and to that kind of thing. So it was a great experience. And let me just see. I'm going to give you another example. A 12-year-old girl was kind of withdrawn, not sharing much, not liking school, didn't want to go to school, all of that kind of stuff. And this is a girl who actually, in terms of the game, she played the game several times. She wasn't really willing to let go of her feelings, of kind of standing back and holding back and being afraid to be with other people. She wasn't really ready to let go of the feelings in the game, but what happened, what her mother reported to me afterwards, was that in fact afterwards she was much more open. She was much more open with her, but especially related to going to school, to her friends at school, and that kind of thing. So you never really quite know what's going to happen with this game. And that's just one example. Okay. And the other thing, the last one I just want to share is that I did an experiment with a 2.5-year-old a few weeks ago. So this was an experiment because the child was very young, and I'd never done anything with the child that young. So, the parents knew that this was just an experiment. And so this is a girl who was very, very active and kind of annoying to her mother a lot. Kind of just, the girl wouldn't settle down, that kind of thing. So we did the session. The girl wanted to play the game. She said yes, she'll play the game. She jumped up on the massage table in the office and sat right in the middle of the massage table. And then we all sat around her, the mother, the father, and me. So usually I have the parents stay in the background, but at 2.5, she wanted her parents right there. And of course it worked out perfectly. And so we played the game as best we could at that age. She's quite verbal. And so she released some feelings. And she, of course, was kind of like the queen of this story. And so the report I have is that she's much more engaged in playing and in her own life, and not always demanding things from her mother and demanding attention and that kind of thing. So whatever happened, which of course I don't really know what happened, whatever happened, it helped her settle into herself more and not feel so needy, really, with her mother. And it was a lot of attention. She got a lot of attention in that game from all of us. And obviously she loved it. So anyway, that's just some examples of what's happened and what can happen. And so I hope this speaks to you in some way. I'm always happy to hear comments, questions, anything at all from you. I'd love to hear some comments and questions. And as I said, I'll be doing an intro in a week or so with one of my colleagues, and I'll let you know beforehand when that is, and it's a free intro in case you're interested in this game, and if you're interested in any other questions or comments about this kind of thing, about parent-child communication. So thanks very much for watching, and talk to you later. Bye-bye.